Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and welcome to Batman. Last week, I dived into a list of my top 10 episodes from Batman the Animated Series, but I felt that my top episode deserved its own episode of my show. So without further ado, my number one episode of Batman is the Two-Face two-parter episode, which focuses on the transformation of Harvey Dent becoming the notorious villain of Two-Face by showcasing his downward spiral and corruption created by Rupert Thorne. The episodes were produced as the 10th and 11th episodes, but aired as the 17th and 18th episodes on September 25th and 28th of 1990. So, without further ado, let's talk about why the Two-Face two-parter, and yes, I realize I'm cheating by having number one be a two-parter, but let's dive into Two-Face. Our episodes begin in a dream sequence where Harvey Dent is tortured by a shadow figure that steps out of the shadows and flips a coin.
Toss a coin to your witcher. No!
The torment in Harvey's head continues until he wakes up screaming, with one of his people telling him that Gordon has started the raid, so Harvey heads out to see what's going on.
Hey Jim, how's it going?
Could be better.
You know, since we're being shot at and all that, the masked men who are held up in the buildings go to use rocket launchers, only for Batman to drop in behind them, kicking all of their butts and forcing them to retreat. Harvey then begins a speech on broadcast where one of the crooks kicks dirt on him, causing him to snap.
Hey! You little weasel! I'll tear you apart!
I'm just gonna go over here. With the entire city now looking on, Gordon helps Harvey away from the cameras, and Harvey tells him he has no idea what had happened. We then go to Rupert Thorne, who is trying to figure out how to get some dirt on Harvey.
All men have something to hide. The brighter the picture, the darker the negative.
You know, as a freelance photographer, I live by that mantra. We then go to a Dent fundraiser funded by Wayne, where in the audience, Bruce questions Grace on what's going on with her fiancé, which to her, she has no idea herself. After a little bit of joking around, Harvey's manager alerts him that the judge has gone against the raid on Thorne. And you can tell he is extremely pissed about the situation when he attacks his manager.
3 months on that raid! He can't overturn! The fool! He's been blocked! Like all the rest!
Harvey then turns on Bruce.
Let go of me, you rich twit!
Yes, punch the millionaire. Excellent. Harvey excuses himself while Thorne's girl was in the crowd. We then learn that Harvey is seeing a therapist, hoping Bruce will keep his secret.
Don't worry. If there's anything I know, it's how to keep a secret.
Says the man who can't keep his identity a secret. We then head to that therapy appointment where the doctor hypnotizes Harvey, forcing Big Bad Harv to come out, giving us an awesome lightning flash revealing Harvey's future as his other half takes over. The doctor gives us exposition on how Big Bad Harv was created before he snaps on her, pissed that Harvey's even thought about getting rid of him, throwing the lamp out the window, forcing the doctor to snap him out of the chain. You know, to be honest, I wish that worked with my kids sometimes. Just go to bed! Harvey has no idea how to deal with this situation, but cares more about being re-elected instead of caring about his own well-being. But Thorne's mole is overhearing the entire appointment. We then head to the election returns party where Harvey gets a call from Thorne, who lets him know he knows about his dirty little secret, and forces him to take the limo waiting for him. At least it's a limo and not a hearse. Bruce notices something's wrong as Harvey leaves and tails him as Batman to Thorne's hideout, where Thorne admits he's going to blackmail Harvey into helping him out. This, unfortunately for Thorne, wakes up Big Bad Harvey.
There's just one problem.
What's that?
You're talking to the wrong Harvey.
I have never seen a fat man fly so fast. Batman stops Harvey from attacking Thorne, allowing Thorne's men to attack him and Harvey while Thorne's girl watches on.
Wild.
I kind of believe that she is a little bit turned on by this. Thorne grabs Harvey's file and runs off, running past a bunch of tanks as one of the Thorne's men shoots at him, causing an explosion when the high voltage cables touch the vats. Batman then sees Harvey's face and ends up rushing him to the hospital. The doctors say he'll be fine, but Bruce is worried about his mentality. Meanwhile, Thorne is not so sure Harvey is completely out of his hair now, and part 1 ends with Harvey's bandages coming off, revealing Harvey's new blue and disfigured face to himself and Grace, causing her to faint and him to leave the hospital.
Goodbye, Grace.
God, I know I'm ugly, but you have to be so mean about it! Part 2 starts with our new villain Two-Face flipping his coin to decide whether or not to hit one of Thorne's buildings, taking a bunch of silver dollars, but when his stooge wants to take a hostage's ring, he makes him flip for it.
Leave it.
But Two-Face?
I said leave it.
Dude just got bitch slapped into next week. Two-Face leaves a message for Thorne by destroying property, and we jump to Thorne being pissed over the 6 months of dealing with Two-Face stealing from him and offers $2 million to anyone who can and will bring him in. We then go into a dream sequence of Bruce dealing with his guilt for not being able to save his friend from becoming the villain he is. I have to say, this animation during the sequence is phenomenal and just showcases why this series is so fucking amazing.
Why couldn't you save me?
The dream continues as Harvey turns into Bruce's parents, asking why they were not saved, and Bruce wakes up and promises to find and help Harvey before we jump to Grace, who is still mourning and gets a familiar-looking guest who pretends to be a cop trying to help her by giving her a beeper for when Harvey comes back looking for her. Ah, the 90s, where beepers solved everything. We see that Two-Face is also mourning over Grace as well, and one of his 2 minions suggests bringing Grace to their headquarters, and he flips for it, but it lands bad side up, and instead he decides it's time to finish Thorne off for good. Batman then figures out the Two-Face's pattern of robbing places with the number 2, and Alfred has an idea.
He's used up all of Thorne's places.
Perhaps he'll rob them twice. A sort of double or nothing.
Double or nothing, huh? That would make a very good wrestling pay-per-view name. Batman still feels he knows what Harvey is going to do, but also believes that Harvey is still down in Two-Face's psyche. Two-Face then breaks in to find Thorne's dirt sheet, only meeting our hero who just wants to help, but eventually gets overpowered and knocked out. Two-Face then finally gets a good-sided coin toss and calls Grace to bring her to him, with her movement showing that she probably plans on using the pager that was given to her. Thorne, of course, is pissed off over what Harvey has done.
He gives those files to the police, I'm ruined. We've got to stop him now.
I am ruined! Ruined, I say! Thorne's beeper goes off and we head to where Two-Face has been hiding out, and we see that he has rearranged his room to be split down the middle. He then talks to Grace about leaving everything up to chance now, but she shows him love and compassion, reminding him that she still loves him before Thorne arrives and shows Harvey that she was just trying to alert the cops for his help. Once Thorne threatens to kill Grace, he gives him the file he wants, but Thorne tries to kill him anyway. This is not the first time that Two-Face has been two-faced. Batman interrupts the party as Thorne's men and Two-Face tango as well, Grace even saving Harvey from a vase. Two-Face then flips in order to get his decision on killing Thorne, but Batman throws the tray of silver dollars, causing Harvey to freak out over not being able to make a decision. Grace promises to make things better, and our episode ends with Gordon and Batman discussing what can happen in the future.
But a little luck wouldn't hurt. For you, Harvey.
So there you go. My favorite two-part episode. That being said, the reasons I love this show are showcased in this episode. From the music to being amazing, to the animation being amazing, to the storytelling being amazing. Everything about this two-parter is what got me to A, love Two-Face as a character, and B, fall in love with Batman as a character to begin with. That being said, I have decided I'm going to end this year's Batman with a double upload. So join me next week as I take a look at the first two issues to showcase Two-Face. I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.